Other discussion or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, Commissioner, that is approved. Next up, we have employee leave of absence, and we're going to refer to our Human Resources Manager, Ms. Shawn Hollis.
Good morning, Commissioners. We discussed briefly about the need and the request for a recommendation that the Commission would approve additional leave without pay for an employee who is undergoing a serious medical event. And we requested this because her leave would end under FMLA. So we're requesting that you all approve an additional up to 80 hours in time for us to review before you guys meet back again in May.
All right, Commissioners, I believe this was gone over pretty good on Monday night. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Costello. Is there a second? I'm sorry, Chambers, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Darty. Commissioner Costello?
And it's, you just didn't say it, but it's leave without, up to 80 hours of leave without pay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I spoke with them. She goes to the doctor today, and she's supposed to let me know her return date.
All right.
Hopefully today.
This should take care of that, and if it doesn't, you'll just have to bring it back to the Commission.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, Commissioners, I skipped right through the timeline, the item above that. I guess I checked it off and moved past it. Timeline of renovations and relocation of commission meeting. Commissioners, we had a pretty good discussion on Monday night about this. There has been discussion because of the renovations to the atrium and the commission chambers that we were going to need to either cancel or move commission meetings to a different location in this county. On Monday night, I went over the two different options. One was Judicial Center and one was the Old Seal Courthouse. I would like to request that you consider moving the next two meetings, which would be May 13th and 6/10 or June 10th, because of the May 27th meeting we will not have. We've canceled it already. I would like to entertain a motion that we move those meetings to the old Russell County Courthouse in Seal, Alabama. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second
By
motion.
Commissioner Reed, seconded by Commissioner Darty. Any discussion or comments?
What is the timeline on the completion?
Mr. Watson, do you have the timeline right now? Can
When
you
it's
put your mic on
estimated
for
to
me?
be completed?
I'm estimating June 1st.
So,
Well, we need to advertise it, so we're pushing out that far.
well, if we advertise it, we gotta hold it no matter
Yeah.
what.
Well, I think we, with,
No matter what.
do you really believe it will be done then, Leon, or is there a possibility it won't?
Well, of course, the first meeting, I don't know what, I don't have the date in front of me for the first meeting in June, so
It's June 10th.
10th.
I would say we would have it done by June the 10th.
Do you think we'll
Yes,
be back in here on June 10th?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I was under the understanding we needed to have two meetings that pushed. Is that
I
right?
would feel comfortable if we could push the June meeting to a different location,
Okay,
especially with the carpet bid opening.
And the
has-
AV and
all
everything
of that.
else.
Yes, sir.
all right. So
Just go ahead and do both
I
of
knew
them.
we had two meetings on there for some reason, and I realize that may be 9 days after the projected time, but it may be a safer bet just to go ahead and push both of
Yes,
them.
sir.
All right?
Have we
Commissioner
considered
Scruggs?
how much it's gonna take to move a meeting to?
Yes, we have. We've had,
I wasn't here.
absolutely. And so so because you weren't here Monday night, we've talked about the ability for our Parks and Rec teams to be able to put the chairs and tables up. Our IT department will be able to move what they need to for Facebook Live down there. We actually have Wi-Fi there now. And we've already been talking with Beam and other AV companies with options to be able to set up the microphones. Anywhere we move, we're going to have the same challenges because no other facility is set up with microphones and things like that for us just to walk into. So, yeah, we had a pretty good discussion about that. All right, we have a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you. We'll start advertising that and make sure everyone is aware of that. Just as a side note, I don't know the last time the county commission met in the old Russell County Courthouse, but I would imagine it's been 100 years, so it's going to be a historic thing for us to be doing it there again, so at least for two meetings. All right, since we've already done the next one, we'll move on to request to purchase dumpsters. Sean Blakely?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Yes,
Morning.
I'm requesting to purchase dumpsters from Ingram Equipment Company in the amount of $17,650. This is 4 4-yard dumpsters, 2 6-yard dumpsters, and 8 8-yard dumpsters, plus freight that will be delivered to the shop.
All right, you have the request of the interim sanitation director. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second motion.
Motion by Commissioner Chambers, seconded by Commissioner Darty. I will note in this that the board has approved this as well unanimously. All right. There's any other discussion?
Yes, can we get the numbers that you're reading off on the agenda next time?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that is approved. Next is a request to suspend the dumpster increases. Sean?
Yes, sir. After reviewing the dumpster increases that were proposed, I have some concerns about them, so I'll be requesting to suspend them rates until at least October the 1st, until I can have time to review it thoroughly, and then I can come back then and propose an increase at new budget time or just leave them the same.
All right, Commissioners, you know that the reason he's saying suspend, we approved this at a previous meeting. This motion will be to suspend that and move forward with the rates that were currently in place. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Costello, seconded by Commissioner Darty. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you. We'll move on to the attorney section of the agenda. The first one is the amendment to policies on policy. Policy on policies. I can't
Yes.
say that.
Good morning, Commissioners. As you know, back in 2023, you passed a policy that required there to be 2 readings before a new policy could be put in place. As we've gone through for a couple of years now, we've seen that it's been effective, but sometimes it ties your hands. And so this would be to amend that policy. It would allow for policies to be approved after 1 reading instead of having 2 readings. The amended portion of the policy would say that once step 3, that's getting with the county administrator, county attorneys, and all that, once that's been completed and the proposed policy is placed on the county commission meeting agenda under business for a first reading, the proposed policy may be approved with unanimous consent of all 7 commissioners. If the policy is unanimously approved by all 7 commissioners, the policy will not require a second reading. If the policy does not receive unanimous consent of all 7 commissioners upon the first reading, the county administrator shall place the proposed policy on the agenda for the next county commission work session or county commission meeting if no work session is held. Then, upon approval of a proposed policy as set out in steps above, the approved policy shall become effective on the date included in the approved policy or 30 days after approval.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Lee?
If one commissioner, say we got a commissioner missing, so then it would automatically go to have to be voted on. So it
Right.
has to be all 7 of them.
Right, and that's why I didn't put unanimous in the revision.
Right,
I put
okay.
unanimous by all 7, so that way you couldn't approve a policy without a
Oh,
commissioner being
everybody.
present, without at least a second reading.
Right, gotcha. Just wanted to make that clear.
Very good.
So that, because the policy right now requires 2 readings, you can't vote on this today. So we'll read it again at the next meeting, and then if you so choose, you could approve to amend the policy.
All right, Commissioners, as stated, this was the first reading on that change, so we will have it on the next agenda for the second reading and approval, or possible. All right, next up, you have executive session.
Actually, I have 2 other ones that
All
I
right,
need
please
to
go
add.
for it.
I apologize. The first one is simply just to notify you that Mr. Jerome Brown has filed a formal notice of claim. As you may recall, Mr. Brown was here at the last meeting complaining about his road situation. There's no action needed to be taken by the commission, but letting you know that the claim has been filed.
Thank you.
The other issue is that we received notification from the Beasley Allen Law Firm in Montgomery. The commission in the past has voted to participate in some class action lawsuits dealing with the opioid funds. And we've checked the minutes. The approval that the commission first did was for specific lawsuits. This is a new class action lawsuit for you to become part of. The defendants, they're named the remnant defendants, and this includes Associated Pharmacies, Inc., J&M Smith Corporation, Morris and Dixon Company, Louisiana Wholesale Drug Company, North Carolina Mutual Wholesale Drug Company, and United Natural Foods, also known as Super Value. So if the commission would like to take part in these class actions where you will recover more money from the opioid funds, if Beasley Allen is able to recover those for the state and the subdivisions of the state, we would need the commission to vote to approve joining in this.
All right, is there a motion to approve joining those lawsuits?
And also asking, approving for the chair to sign the
All right.
agreement.
All right, thank you.
Can we discuss something first?
Yeah, go ahead. If you-
Can
Question first?
Can we do the motion to where in any future class actions, doing with opioid, that we could go ahead and do it without having to come before?
If that's what you all want to do, that's a perfectly good motion.
All right. You want to make that motion?
Yes, I'd like to
Allow the chair to-
amend her recommendation to any and all future opioid class actions,
And allow the chair to sign the document.
and allow the chair.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Costello. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Reed. Any other discussion or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that is approved. Anything else? Executive session?
Executive session. Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, following the commission meeting, I would request that the commission adjourn into executive session to discuss with your attorney the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation, controversies not yet being litigated, but imminently likely to be litigated or imminently likely to be litigated if the governmental body pursues a proposed course of action. As an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, I will say that this exception is applicable to the plan discussion. No action will need to be taken by the commission, so you will not need to come back into this meeting.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You've heard the recommendation of the attorney following the commissioner's discussion and department head discussion and announcements. We'll go into executive session if it is approved. Is there a motion for executive?
Motion to approve?
Second motion.
Wow. Motion by Commissioner Reed, seconded by Commissioner Darty. Any other discussion or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. We'll move into the commissioners' discussion. Commissioners, does anybody have anything to talk about today that's not on the agenda?
I just wanted to comment on the moving of the meeting. If the work is done and we can meet back in here in June, would we come back in here? Okay. But, so,
We can change that at the next meeting, I guess, if we did that, so very good. All right, I have a couple things I want to mention. One, the Crawford Market Days on this past Saturday. We started it back up for 2026. That was the largest one we've ever seen. We usually, the most vendors we've ever had were 67. On Saturday, we had 101. We had the largest crowd we have ever seen. The Dollar General was complaining about too much business, if that helps anything. So I don't think I've ever heard that one before. So I did want to share an email that I received. I shared it with the commission this morning by email, but I think this was important. This was an unsolicited email by a visitor from out of state who sent the email. I'm not sure, I guess they looked on the website, found my email address. But the email stated, a note of appreciation. As an out-of-state traveler to Crawford, Alabama on March 2026, I sincerely want to share my gratitude for your participation with the grounds care at Crawford Square. This was my first destination visit to Alabama. I must say the area and the weather were equally beautiful. Attending the Crawford Square event in Alabama definitely presented a great first impression to me. Thank you, kind regards, Angela. So I wanted to share that with you for so many reasons. One, to show you that our tourism efforts are really working. This is someone from out of state that has come into our county and recognized what we have to offer. Our committee in Crawford are doing a great job, along with all of our employees, especially our Parks and Recs department, for keeping the grounds and everything looking the way it does. It is great to get that kind of feedback. Typically, people give it to us when they walk by. I don't share that every time, obviously, but when you get someone that actually takes the time out of their day to send an email, I wanted to make sure that was shared with everybody involved. I actually shared it with our legislative delegation as well. I think that's important for them to see that. The other thing I wanted to mention to you, a couple more things real quick. We as you know, we've approved the lease of the building in Crawford. We are now moving forward. I met with the sheriff out there yesterday to do a visitor center pop-up and sheriff substation in that building. I think we're both excited about what that's going to look like in Crawford and for the north part of our county. So we're very looking forward to that happening. You're going to see some signs popping up here pretty soon saying that what's coming soon, and get with the sheriff about some time that we can actually make a formal announcement about that. So The last thing I wanted to mention, we did receive an email this past week, myself and I know the administrator did, about one of the deputy coroners in the coroner's office for a very good job that they did. I think other commissioners may have received that as well. I think we're going to, I didn't want to think anyone think that we had forgotten that. We will have that on a future meeting to actually recognize that person as well. We want to say thank you to her as well. All right? If there's no other discussion, I'll move into announcements. Commissioner Costello.
I'd just like to thank Glenwood for their
Definitely.
yearly trip here, and the students, like the chair said earlier, this is something that you may be interested in the future. You guys are young, but we need young leadership stepping up as we all get older up here. So thank y'all for your interest in government affairs and the government class. Thank y'all for being here.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I'm on a committee and people say, we need younger people. They're always talking, looking at me, I'm like, I'm not younger anymore, but I'm not as old as him, but I'm getting there. I'm going to get there one day, so, but we really do appreciate you being here today. So. All right, moving into announcements. First up is the holiday closure notification. Monday, April 27th, all county buildings will be closed in observance of the holiday. Sanitation trash pickup schedule for that holiday. All of the garbage that on the Monday routes will be picked up on Tuesday, so if you have Monday route, just make sure you leave it out for Tuesday. Crawford Market Days, again, Saturday, May 16th at the Crawford Walking Trail. Please come out there. If you haven't been, please come enjoy that and see what I'm talking about. Holiday closure notification for the Memorial Day holiday, which will be Monday, May 25th. All buildings will be closed. And Sean, do you know what the trash schedule on that, will that be the same? They move it to Tuesday as well. That one will also be moved to Tuesday for sanitation. And the last one is the notification, we mentioned it earlier, the commission meeting was canceled for Wednesday, May 27th. All right, those are your announcements. We are now in executive session. Thank you.